Cheech Herbert's 100 Harem. Hello again. I didn't think you'd have the time to deal with me. Moriarty notes as he sees exactly who is waiting for him at Epsilon 4. It's a simple street-side bench. Show up with a suitcase. The contact has an identical one. Walk off with the other case, and the contact does the same. Just wanted to remind you that even if the rest of the Undaunted have decided to forget Argus, I haven't. Cenk replies calmly. He doesn't rise from his seat. He doesn't even look at Moriarty as the Carib man sits down next to him. Neither man looks to each other. Really? Well, it's good to know that someone remembers that worthless failure fondly. Just why? Cenk asks, and Moriarty glances towards him. You couldn't possibly understand, the criminal says to the cop. Try me. No, I mean it literally. You're too young. Argus spent centuries in a miasmatic stillness, living but far from alive. You have no idea what it's like. Your life is short, purposeful, bright and wondrous. You have lived your life surrounded by equals, with betters to aspire to best and compete with. Friends, colleagues, rivals, and even enemies. But there was only stillness for Argus? Cenk asks. His tone is not full of judgment, just questions. Less. Reality was all a gray blur. Not dark, not bright, not warm nor cold, not anything. A suffocating stillness that amounted to nothing and rotted all time. Argus lost track of more time than your last run for Sarah's 3 generations have experienced collectively. All for nothing. Nothing accomplished. Nothing done. It would take mere minutes to describe each of the identical days in pedantic detail. He says before huffing, a dull life isn't so... Cenk protests and Moriarty turns to give him an even look. You still do not understand. You do not know what it is like to lose track of all things. To wake one day to find that all others have had lives full of excitement, purpose, and poignancy. Knowing that there was none for you. Knowing that this was where they all desired you to be. Safe, placid, collared, controlled, contained, and tame. To understand that without even realizing it, you have thrown away your natural lifespan twice over, if not more, for the pursuit of mindless nothingness. Accomplishing nothing, amounting to nothing. Moriarty says, and Cenk merely listens. To understand with full certainty that all things were made for those other than you, that the systems, designs, and patterns of the galaxy at large are not for you to have or paths for you to walk, that the rules, expectations, and all things exist to relegate you to less than a person, to a resource, a thing to possess, and if you speak up, saying that such a thing is wrong, that such a thing is repulsive, and the mere idea of being a mere commodity makes your skin crawl and your bones ache, only to be told that such an attitude, that valuing your own life and dreams, is what is truly wrong. Moriarty's rant tapers off, and he looks at Cenk. You can't possibly understand. To spend so long as nothing more than a commodity, all the function of a coin of tritite and with even less agency, that you cannot even recall a time when you were not. That is why Argus had to die. That is how I was born. I found a way out. But I needed to charge through blades and burning pain and make something from the sheer wailing nothingness that surrounded me. I can understand better than you think, Cenk says, and Moriarty scoffs. The shorter lives and weaker technology of humans on the homeworld doesn't preclude us from doing terrible things to each other. The myth of the noble savage is just that. A myth. Sure, you understand, what with your 20, 25 long years of life? Imagine, if you will, a world where the delusional, dismissive, and cruel hold the reins of power. Yes, imagine, Moriarty states in an amused tone, maintaining their grip under a thin veneer of false kindness and falser tolerance, claiming the moral high ground in everything they do, even as they debase, disgrace, and damage all things around them. Average afternoon. And the worst of it, people believe it. It's beaten into your head from such a young age that you have no foundation to stand on. No initial learning to show you how to puzzle your way out of this, or even recognize that you're not in a good place. Knowing that you are effectively a conquered people, not conquered by an outside power, but by delusional fools who think that reality can somehow be mastered. That somehow, if they scream loud enough, that nature itself will obey. That the fundamental laws of nature will bend to their idiot whims. Not a strong foe. Strong? No. Corruptive? Most certainly. Imagine being told that you are responsible for the sins and crimes of those that have been dead longer than you've been alive. That because you're the wrong color or the wrong sex that you don't have the right to speak when someone calls you a monster. Imagine if merely joking about the wrong thing would have a pack of screaming lunatics to send on you. And if you try and push them away as they scream in your face, you are then arrested and called a criminal. And that's just a start. So no, I may not understand centuries in a listless, lifeless life, but I understand what it's like to be trapped in hell. Cenk says, and Moriarty is very still as he processes it and then nods. Escaping those fools must have felt like being reborn. Yes, as becoming Moriarty was for me. Yes, but you didn't have to go so far. A change of address would have been enough. I'll wager just moving to another country would have done the same for you. But here I am, a weak informant turned criminal mastermind, and you on the opposite side of the galaxy. We both went a little far. No, too far implies that we made it fail. Neither of us have. Not really. Being captured by intelligence, and I sought a new life. I sought purpose, direction, and wealth. Power too. Am I lacking any of those things? Moriarty asks, and Cenk turns to him with an unimpressed look before his communicator goes off. He checks it even as Moriarty's own starts begging for attention. So apparently they thought there was good odds on you strangling me. Moriarty notes. This message is for you, informing you that you were in fact not to strangle me. And I just received a reminder that you are an asset, not an assault target, Cenk says, which means they're getting impatient with me. He then stands up with the briefcase Moriarty brought with him, and Moriarty does the same with the case Cenk brought. They then say nothing to each other as they both turn and leave in opposite directions. Moriarty considerably richer in both trade bars and smaller coins, and Cenk carrying a very, very dangerous device. All right, our capture and interrogation of the Darnaxian concurrence has led to nothing. We've got nothing but the small fry, and all of them are contacted by an automated voice. They're paid half again as well as any other job on the plate to do their work. And we so far have errand girls, janitors, a couple mechanics, and security. Investigator Snow says, and what kind of errands do these girls do? One of the crowd asks, and Herbert checks his own notes. Pick up legally acquired chemical or substance, open package and empty it into relevant hopper. Press 2 buttons, the exciting ones get 3, and then continue. Putting all their jobs together, we get a solid supply chain that's moderately well protected, with no one talking to each other, and therefore no real way to breach the security through them, he says. These girls don't know anything, and while they were screamingly violent in the face of any intruder, that was part of the job. Security has the largest number of actually known employees, but they only know the cleaners, basic errand runners, and mechanics. They haven't so much as seen an accountant, employer, or leader in their entire employment to them. Have you tried tracing back the financial information? One of the first things we did, it led to several accounts that have been routinely accessed with several automated payments and are being kept full due to several small stock portfolios being attached. The access points we've found led back to some basic AI logic trees that seem to be handling not only the money but the employment as well. And let me guess, the AI is anonymous. Correct. Furthermore, we were able to access it, and according to its records, the AI itself has not been accessed in a century. Herbert finishes. What are you saying? I'm saying we either have one of the subtle and patient plotters hinting at one of the longer-lived races, or something else has happened. Something else? There are other ways to observe an organization you've set up, and if you have the payment and employment system down perfectly, then there is little need to interact with it further. So we need to widen our gaze if we're going to find out exactly who was in charge. And why the hell they'd use blood metal for flooring of all things? That's what's really confusing me, one of the women says. That too. I doubt it was for storage. Another says, and Herbert looks through things. which is where things get odder. They have a storage warehouse we found and raided, and there's much, much more blood metal there. 5 times the previous amount. Their storage area has overflowed. Excuse me, did you just say there are 39,250 more kilograms of blood metal? Yes, 4/5 in a specialized storage area, the rest in an overflow area with an automatic scale on it. This has gone well and truly beyond parody. What the fuck is going on? Someone demands. Isn't that what we're trying to find out? Herbert mutters under his breath. There are too many people in this room, too many strong personalities with their own ideas how to get things done, and everyone who is getting things done is doing so by ordering their people to ignore everyone else, which is fucking dangerous. And only the endless streams running around and getting all the disparate investigation squads, hit squads, and commando units talking to each other has prevented friendly fire so far. Everyone here is supposed to be in charge and above everyone else, which means that fucking nothing is happening as they're squabbling about the priorities. He feels his left eye twitch and then decides that's his subconscious's way of telling him that enough is enough. He takes out a whistle from his pocket and blows into it hard. He pauses after everyone stops talking, then they start again and he blows the whistle again. All right, that is enough. We're squabbling like children and getting nothing done while our people trip over a lack of fucking direction. This ends now. If no one can agree on a leader for this committee, then I will take the lead myself and start sorting this madness. We are staring down a potentially apocalyptic threat, and you're all still treating this as if it were a debate about zoning laws and mining rights. This is not the time for debate. This is the time to get things done or die. And what makes you think you are qualified to lead this? The fact I have heavily armed assassins and spies inserted into all your damn groups and are the people facilitating cooperation. So, yes, by logistical and martial force, I have control here. Now, do you all have something you can agree on, or am I going to try and get things done my way? And your way is? Minimum damage, maximum results, total confusion? He says, and there's a pause. Confusion? Yes, confusion. It can be very useful. He says, and there's a pause. No one comes forward. All right, then. I'm in charge. He pulls out his communicator. All right, streams, listen to me. Get the groups you're attached to moving and get the information. I want everything mildly electronic to have a data chip plugged in and all data copied. I don't care if it's the lights, the scale, or a random dildo found in a corner. If it takes axiom or electricity into its system, I want to know what it does exactly. Leave nothing unturned, and I don't care how random your intrusive thoughts are. Follow every single lead, no matter how absurd. The still increasing amount of blood metal has gotten well past the point of parity. I want answers. Understood? He receives a confirmation and nods before putting the communicator on sleep mode. He then addresses the group surrounding him. Any questions, or perhaps any concerns?